as I see more NVA coming, they're right in front of my Claymore.
He
Touchdown.
pulled you out of the field for a white phosphorus grenade?
We had a mission that was called Eldest Son, and this is part of the PSYOPs.
Wow.
You talk about political bull. Excuse my French, sir. Just leave it out there for the NVA to pick up and use it and blow themselves up.
Wow.
I go, son of a, it's Christmas. The helicopter lands, everybody's loading up. As I see more NVA coming, they're right in front of my Claymore. It clicked that MK-57 clacker, blows them up, run back, we get on a helicopter, we're pulling off. It's me and Fook. So there's a little bit of jungle, and some of the NVA are running, and we're in an opening area. It had been raining a couple of days before, and a couple of the NVA come out, and they're trying to stop, and you can see the mud from their boots coming up and hitting the propellers.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And so me and the door gunner hit this one guy, Fook hit the other guy, and they blow back, and we're pulling off. As we're leaving, I get a white phosphorus grenade. We've been told no white phosphorus in Cambodia. But this was so close, and I could see those NVA down there. I threw a white phosphorus down at them, and we leave. Helicopters all get shot up. Our helicopter had over a dozen hits, but none of our guys, none of the Air Force guys got hit. And those Air Force guys from the Green Hornets were hot shit. They just saved our ass that day. We go back to the launch site now with the Air Force guys, and they go, hey, it's Thanksgiving. Come on in and have a Thanksgiving dinner with us. So we gave a quick verbal report on the radio back to headquarters. Went in, sat down with the Air Force, had Thanksgiving dinner. As we're wrapping up, somebody comes out and says, hey, man, they want you back at Honuktel ASAP. And I said, okay. So we go back to Honuktel, talked to the colonel, talked to S3, gave them all of our reports. Bubba took the team out, gave them overnight passes, took care of that. And after we're done with the debrief, it was around 5 or 5:45 or so, Colonel Drake goes, hey, you guys, it's Thanksgiving. Come on down and get a Thanksgiving meal. You have one for breakfast, you can have one for dinner. So we had 3 Thanksgiving meals in one day. Unbelievable. So the next day, we just cleaned our weapons. We did some practice on the range. The next day we had an insert. We wanted to do a trail watch, and we wanted to get a POW really bad. Perfect insertion. We get on the ground, and we go over to, I think it was like Highway 31 in Cambodia. And it's one of these deals where the jungle was like still one canopy, but it's thick. And it's so thick that when you go up, like you push your hand through it, and it's all clear. There's your road. But anybody on the road can't see you, even if they're like you and I distance. The jungle is so intense,
wow,
we can't see each other. So these trucks are coming down. I'm taking pictures of the NVA and their trucks and just some civilian cars. And there have been, of course, motorcycles and mopeds and stuff like that going by. So in between, Bubba went out and put in an anti-tank device, buried it, put it out there, brought back the deaths because we were going to blow up a truck with troops in it, capture a live POW, and get out because the Air Force was so quick to respond. We knew we could pick it up and be out of there in 20 minutes or less. Get it all set up. We pull back in the clear on my radio because I'm carrying the radio. I always carry the radio. RT Idaho, you are to stop the mission, return to base ASAP per the order of General Creighton Abrams. He replaced Westmoreland. And he was now the overall commander for all armed service troops in Vietnam. Like WTF? So instead of being a good combo guy, I say, I can't hear you. We did it. We pulled back and we did a extract, no gunfire. They just came in, pulled us up, took us back to base. And we got back to base. It's like, WTF? We had the ambush set up. We could have had a POW. Premier Sihanouk in Cambodia filed a protest over a white phosphorus grenade that we threw down on the NVA. He wasn't upset about the 100,000 NVA who were in Cambodia. That was cool. But us and our white phosphorus grenade, he was upset about. So the Colonel Drake, he was really cool. He says, okay, he said, what happened out there? I said, well, sir, we got it pulled out under fire. I put that thing right down that guy's head. I wanted them to suffer as much as they could. He says, you forgot about the rules of engagement. I said, well, yes, sir. I just bent them a little bit. He said, okay, well, what's the official story? I said, sir, I really regret that hand grenade fell out of the helicopter, and I still don't know how it exploded on contact with the ground. It must have been that fall. He says, okay. He said, don't do it again. He covered my ass with Creighton Abrams on that. But that's how upset they were. They pulled us out of the fucking field on that. Just unbelievable. Wow. So the next day, we're back. We got inserted. Perfect insertion again. And there we did that multiple touchdown.
Pulled you out of the field for a fucking white phosphorus grenade?
Yeah, and a complaint from the premier of Cambodia, Sihanouk. You talk about political bullfucking shit. Excuse my French, sir. God, we were furious. Because they didn't know we were there. It was the perfect insert. That ambush, we would have gotten the POW and war out of there. We had all the handcuffs ready to go, the plastic tie-me-downs and everything. We were psyched. Bub and I, once again, were planning our R&Rs, Because it was like a dream mission. A perfect insertion. We did the fake land. Got right there south, took us right out to the road, set everything up, put the Claymores out for security. And, man, we were ready to roll. And Bubba was just so good with explosives and stuff. So the next day we get inserted again. And this time it was in the afternoon. We had a good insertion. We're set up at night, put up the RON, but it was hinky. It was just hinky being on the ground in Cambodia because everything's so flat. There's no mountains and minimal vegetation. South found a couple of places where we could pick for a good RON, put out double Claymores. And during the night, I was just hinky all night. We got up in the morning, moved out, and we were going to go back to try to do another POW snatch. And again, Covey came back, or somebody from the 20th came out, gave a combo check and said, by the way, go to an LZ, you're being extracted ASAP. And I said, why? He said, we can't say. They pulled us out again. This time we came back, and Colonel Drake was there. He said, hey, you just lost a helicopter up at FOB-1. A King Bee went down with 7 Green Berets, and they lost the whole crew. So I've got to send you back to FOB-1 because you're low on personnel up there now. He says, our guys are training up, and we'll be able to cover our missions here. We went back in November, I'll never forget it, November 30th, 1968, a King Bee. We had a mission that was called Eldest Son. And this is part of the PSYOPs, where the ammunition was doctored. So if they fired an AK-47 round that had been doctored, it was Eldest Son, it would explode in their face. And they put they used 82 millimeter mortars, and those were doctored. And so when they popped it in the tube, it would explode and just kill everybody because the shrapnel from the tube as well as the rocket would kill any of the NVA right next to it. And it had a psychological impact on the NVA to discourage them from using their ordnance, have to question it. And so this unit, it was just it was a strap hanger mission. Somebody up at the base said, hey, we want to do an Eldest Son mission. We need 6 or 7 guys. We got a site. So they gave them extra ordnance, and they were going to go to this cache, put in the stuff, and leave. And just leave it out there for the NVA to pick up and use it and blow themselves up. While they were en route, they got hit by anti-aircraft fire. The King Bee went down and crashed, and they lost everybody.
Damn.
Horrible. Yeah, November 30th. So we went back north, and within a few days, we had another mission, which was just a routine mission. And then we had some downtime because of weather. And then we came to Christmas Day, 1968. And didn't even realize it was Christmas because we had been so busy planning, working things out. And they had a mission where they wanted us to go in on a mountaintop for a trail watch and also to look for enemy fuel lines because the NVA were bringing down fuel lines from North Vietnam that were coming down into Laos. And the fuel lines would come down to refuel the trucks as they came down the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But nobody had found any yet. So our mission was to get us this hilltop, get inserted, do a general area recon, then the next day move out to try to find some of those fuel lines. So in November of 68, President Johnson declared a bombing halt in North Vietnam. And not all, but a lot of the anti-aircraft weaponry that had been up in North Vietnam began coming south. So on Christmas Day, our target was just into Laos, maybe 5 or 10 clicks into Laos. And we had a King Beast, Captain Tuong, the one who pulled me out when I was upside down. He was our pilot that day. And instead of doing the yellow leaf Aspiro, he wanted to just go in low level, go right up and set down. Well, somewhere he made a mistake. And we came in, we went up the mountainside, and halfway up the mountain, there was this little knoll. He touched down on the knoll instead of going all the way up. But we got out. And there was a lot of elephant grass. So right there in the elephant grass, he took off, and the elephant grass was thick. Again, it's 10 to 12 feet. To the south and to the west, and even to the northwest, it was so steep we couldn't go anywhere. So Fook led off to the east. He's our point man. And with Bubba, me, Lynn Black was there with us. And then we had Tuan, Fook, and Heb. And so we're there, moving out. And within a half hour or less, we made contact, light contact with the NVA. So we came back, and we're back on that little knoll. And Lynn and I are talking. It's like, well, the northeast is the last place that we can go. And Lynn goes, but there's no activity there. We don't see anything. We've had contact here. And then people started shooting at us from down the hill in the south. And we were throwing hand grenades. All of a sudden, the elephant grass catches fire down the mountain. And the wind from that mountain area was blowing those flames up the hill. And then the NVA were going around. When they saw that, they were going around and setting fires on the base of that knoll that we're on. So at one point, the elephant grass was burning. We're looking down the hill. You have all these smoke waves, and then the heat waves you see. You could look through and you could see the NVA there lighting stuff further down the mountain. But they weren't shooting at us. They were all lighting up the mountainside. So I declared a prairie fire emergency. Spider was flying Cubby that day. We couldn't go. Oh, and Spider comes out and he goes, do not go to the northeast. We had an intel report. There's an NVA ambush waiting for RT Idaho there. I never had an intel report like that. So we didn't go. Now we're fighting the fire. Lynn and Bubba cut S4, try to blow the flames back down the hill. But the mountain and the wind and everything was blowing that stuff up. Thankfully, Captain Tuong got there, and he came up above us, and he came down the mountain flying sideways. And I looked up and saw Captain Tuong, and I recognized him because from that day mission when I was upside down and other missions, and we, of course, had bought him drinks, he came down, and he landed, and the prop wars blew back all the flames. We jumped on that King Bee. When he lifted off, whoosh, all of the LZ was covered with flames.
Wow.
And of course, we left under fire. So we were firing at the NVA as we pulled out. So that was Christmas. And we barely got out of there that day. And that night I took a shower. And when I'm walking back to my hooch from the shower, because the shower was over to the left, past the officers' barracks, and our hooches were here. And as I walked back to my room, I hear this little cheap transistor radio playing Silent Night. I go, son of a bitch, it's Christmas. I'm thinking about Trenton and mom and dad and grandmom, what they're doing on Christmas Day. And then I thought, this is fucking crazy. I don't think I'm going to see my birthday. We keep having missions like this. Thanksgiving Day, the Upside Down, October 4th, Echo 4, Echo 8. This is, I don't think I'm going to see my birthday.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And If you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.